Joe Rogan gets right and leaves the left.
Over time, this is what we're seeing. So over time, you and I, who used to be on the left, are now like, where's the left? Where are you guys? You guys are so far away. I can't even see you. You're out of your mind. You're chopping dicks off and giving little kids hormone blockers. You have no idea what the long-term consequences are. You're ignoring the health risks. You won't even talk about the health risks. You use things like gender-affirming care. What are you saying? What are you saying when you're talking about children? Why are you just accepting this? Because it's a noble thing to blurt out, so everybody goes, you're on the right team. That's what it is. It's not like, oh my God, what are we doing to kids? It's not like, oh my God, what are we doing to San Francisco? It's not like, oh my God, why are we letting these violent criminals out of jail? It's like, oh my God, why are we defunding the police? What are you doing? You can't say.
It's a nice little piece from the Rubin Report with Joe Rogan, really waking up to a lot of the insanity that exists left of center in the aisle. You got to listen to some of these things. I don't need to go into kind of the statistics of, these things that they're talking about. But if you look at them from 20, 30,000 feet, you have to look at what does and does not make sense. You have children that are coming up. Years ago, there was no gender-affirming care, which is just very, very clean pseudonym or euphemistic of just saying that you are giving young people drugs to affirm an ideology, a thought, a belief that they're not a boy, they're a girl. They're not a girl, they're a boy. They're a two-spirit. They're a coyote. They're a cat, so they need a litter box. We're promoting a lot of this ridiculous ideology. Well, not all of us, but people on the left. And guys like Joe Rogan is starting to see that now. Doesn't make sense. All of the brutality that's taking place in these blue-run cities across the country, San Francisco, Chicago, Minneapolis, New York City. You could see it just happened this week. These two cops are trying to arrest an illegal migrant. Migrant is illegal migration. These folks are not legally migrating. They're coming in. Two cops trying to arrest somebody. 6 other guys start kicking, punching. One guy went for the kill shot trying to kick the cop in the head. They get arrested. They get brought in. They get released, no bail, and then they make the run for it. And then there's the guy who's flipping the double bird to the camera. These are the people that we're bringing into the country. Maybe Trump wasn't wrong. Mexico is not sending their best. Not all of them, but they're not sending their best. This would almost underscore his messaging. So, got to look at some of the logic. Maybe some of what the right says is right and makes sense. Let's go back to Joe. Let's see what he's got to say.
Well, I used to be a part of the Blue Bubble. I was 100% a left-leaning person who lived in Los Angeles. I was 100%. I never voted Republican my whole life. I was very left-leaning, especially with like any social issues. When it comes to financial things, I'm a little bit more conservative. But at the end of the day, I'm way more left than I am right. But California went nuts, man. It's gone like full communist. It's out of its mind. And their approach to law enforcement is so insane. It's so insane. The no cash bail, the letting people out for committing violent crimes, the not stopping people for stealing up to whatever money it is. What is it, $900 now? I think they raised it. I think they made it a little higher. San Francisco is non-existent. Most of San Francisco is emptied out of like big chain stores and big department stores.
I won't even do stand-up there anymore.
It's crazy.
They ruined it.
They ruined the city. I mean, you can bring it back. The structure's still there. But you'd have to have some hardcore Rudy Giuliani type motherfucker come in there and knock heads.
Wow.
Joe's right. He's kind of right. I mean, look at the whole thing across the board. And I'm not saying that, all the best ideas exist on the right. There are fundamental, at the very, very distilled, watered-down ideas of leftism, ideas that are good. Thoughts and ideas about helping people to come up, people that are impoverished. We want to try to help people that are disadvantaged or do not have the same ability to rise up as those people that are advantaged. economically and geographically advantaged by luck to just have grown up in the right zip code. But I didn't get help growing up. I was surrounded by a lot of wealthy folks of ways and means. Nobody gave me a ladder to rise up. I rose, I fell, I rose, I fell constantly. Okay, but through hard work, effort, energy, ingenuity, thoughtfulness, innovation, you find a way to make it. Okay, but that's through living the life of hard knocks. There's no respect. People that are coming across the border, we're just letting them in. So from the word go, they're being allowed to illegally exist inside of a nation of laws, if that's what we still have. So there are good ideas on the left. There's good ideas on the right. There's also kind of insanity on the right. Don't believe I can get on board with the entire idea of, being pro-life during incest and rape. I don't know if I could go there. Kind of have to tack a little bit to the middle on that. Your body, your choice to make these decisions with your doctor, the donor, and God. All right. So I don't know if I can get all the way on the right with some of these thoughts and ideas. But you have to be thoughtful about where you end up. But you have to look at this year when you're going to make a decision about who you're going to vote for, Biden or Trump, because that's how it's going to end up. You got to remove the insanity, the ridiculousness of potentially both of the inequities of these candidates and look at really the policy prescription. Maybe Trump wasn't so wrong. The guy's been talking about illegal immigration for now 9 years. Here we are now in the middle of it all. Highest degree of illegal immigration for the month of December across the border. People are coming in. They don't respect our laws. They're breaking our laws. There's crime rings now in New York City about stealing people's phones and setting up apps to steal identities and whatnot. These are the people that are in the country. And then when they attack the cops and then they get no bail, they run for the border. Where are they going? To another sanctuary city that's going to give and afford them the same ability to break the law again. Why are these people not being just deported immediately? You break the law, you're here, you don't appreciate being here, and then you go. That's this tough, smash mouth law enforcement that Rogan's talking about, that Giuliani was once upon a time. Got to start making these things. There has to be the rule of law. We have to people that respect and are thrilled and want to be here. They want to assimilate into our culture and be a positive force for good in the country, as opposed to all this nonsense that's going on that we're allowing. And that is coming from your left, not from your right. People from the right saying the same thing. Migrate, come here, legally, get in line, take a number, assimilate, wave the U.S. flag. You want to wave your flag? Go back to where you came from. But you come here, you ride for Team America. You don't get traded from the Boston Celtics to the Los Angeles Lakers and then show up game one in your Boston jersey. Do you?
I'm in the middle now.
I'm in the middle.
I never thought I would ever say that.
Never.
It only happened in this last year.
Right, exactly.
I just went, I can't do it anymore.
In closing here, I think a lot of people have to be closer to the middle. And the people that are on the left that have some level of sanity that still remains, they probably don't want to say to their friends or family or the people that they know are in their camp, hey, listen, I think I'm more into the middle to the right because I can't get on board with this insanity, giving children gender-affirming drugs for the gender they are not, allowing people across the border with no identity whatsoever, and then allowing them with maybe an arrest record to get on a plane when you have to get through TSA, take off your shoes, have a passport, have a driver's license, has to be enhanced. You're an American citizen. You're a prisoner in your own country, but somebody who just came in across the border can show an arrest record and just get on an airplane. This is insanity. How could you even buy into that? Yeah, right, maybe you don't like some policies on the right that's maybe pro-life, but I tell you, people on the right, who do Black Lives Matter to? Really, people on the right, because who has the most abortions in all of society tends to be the African-American community by way of Planned Parenthood. Go look it up. Those are their statistics. So who's protecting Black lives is people on the right, whereas the left, they're for abortion, which means that they really are not protecting those lives. It's just the logic. It's real simple. 30,000 foot view of this makes sense to me. right? So you have to think about your party, the policies that they espouse. Probably some of them are good, not all of them are bad. On the right, their policies are good. Not all of them are bad. Not all of them are good. But when you make your final decision this year, when you pull the trigger in the voting booth, remember, you pull the trigger for the policy that logically makes sense, because you're going to have to ignore the personality.